Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is an end of the month for December tarot oracle reading. And Scorpio, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Scorpio, we still all have a little bit of Scorpio in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is it in? That's where this energy will show up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. This is a general or collective reading, so just be aware that parts of it may or may not resonate with you. I just lost a card, so just give me a sec here. I guess this is the one that wants to be the underlying energy for the deck, or for the reading. So we have the Eight of Cups, which is about walking away. The walking away energy has been coming up in a lot of the readings, and we have the new moon and the full moon in the background here. So this means someone has put quite a lot of energy into something. There's only 10 cups in the tarot, and there's 8 here. These cups represent a romantic love, or it can represent what you love to do, who you love, like other than romantic partners, that kind of energy. And we have the full moon in the background. We had a full moon on December 4th, which was Gemini, and we have a new moon here that just happened last night as I do this reading. And this is a Sagittarius new moon. And then tomorrow we will have the solstice, which is the shortest day and the longest night of the year. And then after that, there will be light at the end of the tunnel, and we'll move into new, a new day, new light. And so the underlying energy for the internal forces, which will be this bottom part of my spread here, is the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords represents a communication coming in. And in the old days, the pages would work for the king or the queen, and they would deliver messages within the court. They would start around the age of 7 to 14. And then when they were 21, if they were still doing it and they were good at what they did and they could afford a horse, they would have the option of a knighthood. And the swords represent the energy of your thoughts and your mental intelligence. So this energy, of all the pages, there's 4 pages, and this is the only one that is not focused on his element. As a matter of fact, he's looking away. This talks about innovative thinking. He doesn't get stuck on his thoughts. He has many thoughts. And that's represented by this flock of birds behind him here. He's an innovative thinker. And this energy also can be of someone that is kind of like spy energy, you know, because they're looking into business that's not their own kind of energy. And so that's the underlying energy of the internal forces. And then we have the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is sitting on her throne, and like if you look, the page is looking right at her, and she wants to receive the message. She's got her sword up, and you can't see the tip of his sword. You can't see the point. So sometimes this energy is like, what's the point of what you're telling me? Like the Queen of Swords is impatient, and she's like, I want to receive the information. I want it to be exactly what I need. Get to the point. And off with your head if you don't. So she wants clarity from whatever this information is. Her head is above the clouds, and she's standing on her own here. So she'll be the one who chooses or decides whether this is information that she's going to take action on or not. The Sagittarius new moon energy is about taking action. And then we have the Chariot coming in. So the Chariot represents action. It represents like it's a vehicle that's traveling. And you'll notice there's no reins here. And that's because this person that's in the Chariot is actually on their destined path. And so they are leaving the city behind, and they're going somewhere else, and this is their destiny. Sometimes this card can represent the energy of law enforcement, because the black and whites were what they used to call the police cars in the old days. They were called black and whites because they were black and white cars. that was in North America. And this energy that I was picking up, like that I said could be like spy energy. This could be an energy of a private detective or an actual detective in the 3D. So that might be what the Queen wants information about. And then we have, oh, these 3 cups here have spilt, it looks like. So whatever this person is walking away from is, there's, 8 cups here, but I feel like these 3 represent these 3 that spilt. And this energy is talking about a couple, I feel. So perhaps, you never know, the Queen may have hired a private detective because she thought perhaps someone was cheating. That's what, in love, 2's company, 3's a crowd kind of energy. And there's some regret here. Now, whether the regret is hers, and recognize that the Queen can also be a male in their feminine energy as well as a female in her feminine energy, intuitive energy. And so, yeah, there's some regret about this. It could be her regret, or it could be regret on the other person's part. And there is, or maybe she was the one that was involved in this and she has regret about it and she wants to know if her partner knows about it or not. That kind of energy. So this is crying over spilt milk or spilt wine, as may be the case. And yeah, the energy is, this has happened. You can't make it unhappen. If you're walking, this may mean someone's walking away from a relationship because the cups are about love. Or it could mean walking away from the third party and picking up again with these 2 cups and, walking down the path and crossing the bridge over troubled waters. And the castle in the background represents, it's half standing and half dilapidated. So it can be like that energy of the glass half full, glass empty. And a lot of regret for maybe having cheated because it's made the home half, it's a half-assed home now. The castle isn't the castle it used to be. And then we're talking about a foundation here. So this is also about, the pentacles represent health, wealth, happiness, and part of that, of course, and in the 3rd dimension. So this energy is about having pentacles. This is about the 3 levels of money, and this is like safe money, having a strong foundation, but playing it safe. And then this is the heart's desires. So playing it safe with, your foundation. Or not playing it safe because of your heart's desires. And then this is the crowning glory. So I'm just getting not thinking with their big head. That's the energy. Thinking with their little head, passion. And it caused their foundation to crumble is what's coming up. And it's like, you notice the city's behind this person. So it's like representing someone that could be starting over also. Yes, and then the Knight of Wands comes in. And the Knight of Wands is pure Sagittarian energy. That's the centaur that with the archer, shooting arrows. And this is about movement. This is about passionate movement. This is representing wood from the tree, the offshoots of that wood, and the roots of it. So this is the Knight of Wands would be working also. This would be like someone that worked for royalty and, or, had a high standing job, a career, and they are delivering another communication here, and it's regarding passion. And I feel like there's, this is about the mysteries of the world here. And I feel like, and you notice the big red plume here. This represents someone that's a bit of a hothead and is sometimes guided by their passion. The Knight of Wands can represent someone that's a player, someone that, may have cheated, basically, to be blunt, I guess. And then there's disappointment about this. So this energy, and the Scorpio energy is known as the sexual gladiator, so that could be part of that energy. And the so there's the Three Cups again, and this card I feel is representing, okay, of course this person is very disappointed. They're sitting under the tree and they might be disappointed in themselves, or they might be disappointed that the other person walked away, or they might be disappointed, or it could represent the disappointment of the person that was cheated on. In any case, the universe, God, is handing another cup. And this person is like, no. Is it going to be more of the same old shift, or is this going to actually be a cup of love? And so this could represent an apology coming in, and whether or not this queen is going to accept that apology or not. That's the kind of energy that it feels like. And it might have been because she had hired a detective and found out, he, remember these, and this knight could also be a woman in their masculine energy. So this is talking about whether or not this person is going to accept this new cup of love. And that could be from a totally different person. That could be from the other person that was in the threesome. That might be what this person is walking away. See, there's two cups missing here. And has decided, okay, I'm going to let go of the regret and I'm going to accept this new cup of love. That kind of energy. But there definitely has been some sort of energy around this. And we have... this card is speaking about what identity you're in, how you feel about yourself at this time, your self-image. And so this is someone that's done with the bullshit. Totally, like, they're willing to receive, but you better come in correct or off with your head, that kind of energy. And maybe waiting for this information from the page, and that could have been a private detective energy that I was picking up. And they've come in with this information, and this is something that is making you question your self-worth, or confirming your self-worth and realizing, I deserve more than this. And so there's regret here, and this is also communication from early life. So this could be like, you may have been someone that was raised in a family where your parents were divorced, or there was a lot of fighting, thoughts being thrown back and forth, and this kind of cold energy. And you always said, I'm never going to be like that. And now, you're in this situation where where you're disappointed in your relationship. And then this is about also your emotional foundation and on your home and family. So it's saying, I feel like this is saying that the strong foundation that you thought you had wasn't. And this is the Knight of Wands. This is about romance and children and creativity. So I feel like this is the energy like of someone that, stepped out of the relationship and was creative in that way, if you want to put it that way, in their romantic life. And unfortunately, because of the passion and the wood and the descendants, it could have resulted, I feel like, in a child. There could be a pregnancy outside of this relationship. And this also could represent, because this is, especially with this here, it's past, present, and future energy. So this is about, this could have happened and you are the child that was produced from a relationship like this, or it could be what's happening to you right now, or something that you fear in the future or that you suspect. And so this energy here is about, are you going to stay in this disappointed state? And how long are you going to stay there? This actually could be this way. I'm just being obsessive compulsive here, but I want to line them up correctly. So this energy is about these three cups and the disappointment on both sides, and whether or not you can move forward from this, or are you going to sit under that tree for the rest of your life and just never ever accept love in your life again because you don't want to be that vulnerable. That's the energy. And so those are the internal forces. This is what you have control over. You know, you don't have control over what other people do, but you can control how you respond or react to what they do. And then we have the lifestyle. Yeah. So this is external forces. This is like the promise of marriage, the big North American dream. More so like having a big house, maybe out in the country, having the perfect partner with children and the pets, and having time to stop and chat with the neighbors, and it's raining money. This is like the dream we're sold. Like, this is what marriage is about, and that kind of energy. And so those external forces shape us from when, a young age. And I feel like the disappointment isn't just in the relationship, but it's in this not being what you thought it was going to be, like having expectations of what marriage is and what marriage is about, and whether or not you want to make commitments and that kind of energy. This could also be a commitment to a business, that you really love, and you had the wrong partners or whatever, and you're walking away from that, because there is a lot of pentacles here also. So this doesn't have to be romance, but it's about something you love or love to do or love to be or love to, and so it could be a partner. But with the cups, quite often, we'll see. Especially it's just kind of talking about lifestyle, basically. So yeah, if you have to walk away from your business, then, and we do have the law and order in here. So there might have been an investigation. There might have been some fraud in your business, or somewhere, something like that. Okay, so the energy for the external forces underlying is about lifestyle. And the 10 of Pentacles is the most, 10 of Pentacles is the highest that you can have. So it could be saying that this is what you should have, and this is what you ended up with. And how did that happen? That kind of energy. So we have the Ace of Wands coming in. And the Ace of Wands is another gift from the universe. So you're being, are you willing to take another cup of love? Because if you do, if you're willing to be vulnerable to that, then you might have a passion for new discovery. So this is talking about being willing to give either this person a second chance, or, because you notice they're carrying this wand here, or just take a second chance at love, or have, give your business another chance kind of energy, or start another business that you'd have to start over, but you wouldn't really be starting over like like the very beginning. You would have a strong foundation because you've already had success, clearly. And, and I'm also getting, if this is a relationship, it was successful in many ways, but then someone stepped outside of the relationship and it caused a lot of problems. And then we have the Emperor. So the Emperor is sitting on their throne, and the Emperor represents authority figure, but it also represents all four kings in the minor arcana rolled into one person. So this is someone that is admired for their business acumen, and with their ability for business and finances and that kind of, energy. They are also an intellectual person, very intelligent and professional. And they're also, loving and in control of their emotions. They don't fly off the handle and that kind of energy. They have their emotions in touch with, they're in touch with their emotions when it comes to love. And they also are all about performance. So they can take action to make things that are in the ethers come down to earth. And so they're admired for that ability. And they're also an authority figure. So that could represent someone that's a judge, a prosecutor. Like if it's about legal matters, it could be, some probate lawyer, that kind of energy. Someone that's a financial advisor. My cat thinks I'm playing. No, don't attack me, Sala. My cat's on my lap and she's trying to grab the cards out of my hand. So this is the card. The Six of Cups is about reconciliation after an illusion. The reason why this card can talk about forgiveness, But forgiveness, you can forgive yourself and forgive others for their actions, but it doesn't necessarily mean, forgiveness is the first step towards reconciliation, but it doesn't mean that you are going to be with the person again. So you might say, okay, I'm going to let go of the anger and I'm going to open myself up to love again, to have passion and love in my life again, but I'm not going to be doing it with this person again. And this is also reconciling like your childhood fears around commitment and that, so that maybe you can have that actual commitment if you decide that you want to be in a relationship again and not be such a player, right? And it also can mean that you attract players because you really would rather be independent. That's what this one little bird here means. You notice this is a group of, in the sword cards, the face cards have these birds in the background, and she's only got one. This is showing someone that's very independent. And this energy is also the most likely, of all the queens, this one is the most likely to be divorced or separated because she can look after herself. She doesn't need someone in her life. She wants someone in her life. And that's true if it's a man also, and recognize that the Emperor could also be a woman in their feminine energy. So this card is talking about, are you going to reconcile, or are you able to forgive? Forgiveness is for yourself so that you could accept another cup of love. It doesn't have to be from this person. And with the Sagittarius energy coming in with the new moon, the new moon was in Sagittarius last night, and this energy is talking about the new, like do the new. Plus, we're moving from 2025, which 2 + 2 + 5 is a 9-year. So that's the end. 9s represent the end of a cycle, and 2026, 2 + 2 + 6 is a 10. That's a 1 year. We're moving it not just from the 1 year to another, but we're moving from almost like a decade of a cycle into a totally new cycle. So a lot of people are feeling this energy, this passion for new and for, movement, like after being stagnant for some time. And so that combined with the fact that we're moving out of, in February, the energy of the snake, which sheds, which on the new, which is something that December 4th, the full moon was really big, and it was about let go, release everything that doesn't, strengthen you at this time, so that you're prepared for the new when the new moon comes in. And then the energy is, we're moving into the year of the horse, and that's all about, okay, now we're going to be able to move forward in a new way, and it's all about like that kind of energy. And there was a tower. So there might have been something that happened and someone hired a private detective or whatever. If it's a business, it could be that the law had to be called in because there was fraud or forgery or something like that. The tower represents a reality check. So the lightning hits the tower and causes the people to fall out of their house. And one of them is really surprised, and the other one's kind of like, hallelujah, get me out of here energy. So one kind of knew this might happen, and the other one was totally taken by surprise. And so this energy is talking about a reality check that was needed because for this energy to move forward. And so reality checks like this are usually very uncomfortable, but I feel like it was caused by the passion, the explosion of passion from the player, energy being caught. And if it was about a business, it's kind of like they couldn't hide it anymore because it was becoming so obvious, and what's obvious to one is not necessarily obvious to the other, So this is about taking time to hang from the tree of knowledge and absorb the information. So the communication that came in, Stella, do you want to come up here? Oh, my cat is being annoying. Sorry. Do you want to come up here so that you're not yelling? Or are you just going to go away? Okay, go away then. if you don't want to come up here. So this energy, I apologize, but she's going to, if I lock her in the bedroom, she'll yell louder. So this energy is of hanging from the tree of knowledge, and you've gained the insight now, and now you're absorbing it, you're digesting it, and deciding, okay, what am I going to do? And it's taking the time to do that is a really good idea. And remembering, as dark as this might feel, and like you'll never be able to get through it, the energy is, remember, there's light at, the solstice is just around the corner here, and there's always light at the end of the tunnel. This energy won't be here forever. It's, a flat, you don't get hit by lightning very often. And sometimes when you get hit by lightning, it's like winning the lottery. Like, how often do you win the lottery? It's that same, the tower doesn't necessarily have to be a negative. And this is about, okay, this is the Six of Swords, and there's two here. And I feel like this is saying quite a few things. This is like rowing off to calmer shores with God. Like, okay, I'm going to do my best to heal from this. I'm going to put these thoughts and everything about this, and I'm going to cross and move to calmer shores. It's required to really dig deep, like this pole has to get to the bottom so that the boat moves forward. But I'm worth it. And I want that forward movement in my life. And this sometimes also says that this little child is actually your inner child, and you're rowing off because you're healing. You've healed that inner child. And so now you're ready for another relationship, another romantic relationship, and not necessarily with this person. This could be, okay, I'm forgiving you and I'm going to reconcile with you. Or it's, I forgive you and I forgive myself, but I'm not going to ever entertain being in a relationship with you again. So let's see which one. Let's see if we can get a little bit more clarity on this. If you're enjoying this reading, please do like and comment. And it really does help me build my channel. So I want to clarify a little bit more. Is this about a business, or is this about a relationship, or is it about both? It could be about both. Would you like to come up here and stop yelling, or are you going to just sit there and... She wants me to feed her. I just fed her a couple hours ago, so you're going to have to just wait a few more minutes. You can hop up here if you want. I don't mind. So, I've done several readings already today. I had one, I did an entire reading, and then I realized that my mic wasn't on, so I didn't record. Oh no, my mic was on, but I hadn't pressed the record button. So it was like, mind you, it was a reading that I was kind of like, oh, I didn't like that reading very much. So I was kind of glad not to put it out there. And it's kind of like up and down energy right now with this. And I feel it's the holiday season, and some people are going through some real challenging things right now, and it's hard to be in the holiday mood if that's happening to you, and it's hard to watch everybody else laughing and having fun around you, that kind of energy. That's what I'm picking up here. But remember, the light at the end of the tunnel is almost here. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. I know. I will feed you as soon as I'm done this reading. Be quiet. And so I am clarifying with my oracle cards, Tales from the Vector. I'm just shuffling and tuning into this energy here and see what pops out here. So this is a oracle that I began in 2007, and in 2020 I completed the 64th painting, and now I'm working on the book, like the information that will go out with it, and bring the actual oracle out. The cards I'm using here have the numbers of the paintings as they are on my website on talesfromthevector.com. So that's TAILS. And you can go there. I will have them listed in the description box below in the order they appear if you want to look at the paintings. And they say a picture paints 1,000 words. So I'm just waiting for this energy to tune in. My cards are jumpy, so usually I know when a card wants to pop out, okay, that's the one to start the reading with. Oh, there we go. Okay, so the underline, there's 3 cards that popped out, so that'll be good. We have the underlying energy for the whole, about the walking away, is the Aries energy. So Aries is the first zodiac sign, and it represents the infant energy, like a newborn being brought into the world, representing that new energy from the new moon moving into a new year, and possibly a new relationship by apparently here. This is about being versus doing, just being. It's enough for you just to be who you are. So if you're feeling like I wasn't enough, you are enough. And you don't have to always be doing, you can just be, like, also. And being you is the best option, regardless if other people don't approve of it, or, and you feel like, oh, if I would have done this or that, the relationship would have been different, but it was totally not you, then, and the other thing is that as we go through cycles, we change. And so a lot of times that energy is kind of like, you have to honor who you are right now also. And so the energy for the internal forces, the clarification is the hangman, that balance. And that's what I'm getting. Like, it's about like really giving yourself, you owe it to yourself to have the time to digest any information that's come in, the communication that's come in, so that you can really take strong actions on what you want to do. And in some ways, I know it's really challenging if you're in the holiday season and you celebrate Christmas and that. But it's also a time right now, if you are in the professional world, that everything's closing, like, for sure by now. And like, it's really challenging to get things done business-wise now. So this is a perfect time to really look into the energy. You're not going to miss out on business, unless you're in retail, of course, then that might be different. But I'm talking about, government institutions, the courts, everybody's like they're pretty much business is closed until around the 3rd, 4th, 5th of January kind of energy. And then we have degradation. So this is the energy I'm getting. Like, water represents emotions, and I feel like the Queen of Swords felt humiliated. That's that kind of energy. It changed your identity because you felt like maybe you had the lifestyle and everything that you always thought, and you found out that things weren't what they were, and you feel like it degraded you. And so just recognizing that, the shame is like, if you're not the one that cheated and you didn't, know about it, that's not, that says more, it says more about the other people than it does about you. And then attachment, yeah. So it's kind of the energy of what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. Like, kind of, letting the driving force being your passion, lust, that kind of energy, looking outside, wanting to not be at home, that kind of energy is what's coming up. Then we have the Aquarius energy. And this is about, like, especially for business and that energy, if this was like a business, it could be like getting attached to the way things used to be in business, because things are changing with all the AI and the technology. We have to be able to keep up with that. So this Aquarius energy we moved into in 2020 from Piscean energy. And the Piscean energy was like, things stayed the same for like, it was like 1600 and some years. And now we're in the infant stages of being in this Aquarius energy, the age of Aquarius. And this is all about experimentation. And, like, you try this, you observe, did it work? Didn't it work? And then you have another experiment. So it's not like taking like big chunks of your life at once. It's about taking small steps and improving things. Systems within systems. And this new technology that is coming in now allows us, like, to really, if we use it correctly, it can empower us to set up systems to make life easier for us and to make our businesses more efficient. So there's the mother's worry in here. So I feel like there may have been children in a relationship here that are also affected. And that's a lot of what the regret is about. I feel like, you know, one moment of passion can pretty much take apart a lot. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune turning. So this is talking about in, you know, like what I was saying about 2026 being a 10-year. So if the Wheel of Fortune is turning, this is also a Sagittarius energy. And the moon, the new moon yesterday, and today we're feeling it, and we will for a couple more days here, really intensely. This is talking about your luck is changing, the wheel is turning. We're in the Sagittarius energy now. It's time for a new adventure, experiment, and get out of like this disappointed, depressed, bitter stage, because you could stay here for your whole life now, and it would be more of like, if you've had something happen in your business or in your relationship and it's really hurt you, the best thing you can do is heal from it so that you can move forward and, you know, have what you wanted, this. And so the Virgo energy is talking about communication. It's, you know, ruled by Mercury, which is all about communication. And at the end of November, we had this energy where we had been in a Mercury retrograde, and the communication was very scrambled. And now, like, in that can be very residual, but now it's like there's a lot of clarity coming out, and we can see that in the news now. Like, it's like, oh my goodness, what's happening in the news, you know, around the world. So that's what I'm saying. You're not alone. This energy is just kind of like baseline for what this energy is like right now. That's why it's a really good idea if you're feeling really emotional and angry or whatever, to really allow yourself to take the time to get that balance, especially about the information coming in, you know, on a global sense, as well as in a personal way, because now is not a good time to indulge your emotions and be impulsive. It doesn't work out very well. And then we have the energy of having the courage to move forward. And this quite often, it represents this energy of healing that inner child. So that kind of energy is talking about, you can have this. You're going to have the strength to change, because it takes two to make a relationship. And so you have to realize, okay, what was my part in this? Like, where did I give myself away? How could I have done better within my own self? You can't control others, but you can control yourself. And then, and you know, realizing, hey, marriage is a 50-50 proposition, so it can't be all one person's fault. That's not possible. And then we have the ego, which is a karmic space. And it's kind of, yeah, like, I'm just getting that this was very challenging, because it affected your pride and kind of, and this ego energy. I feel like, you know, it's like we need an ego to be able to survive in the world. It's when you let it overpower you. And I feel like you don't know who you are. Like, after this happened, you thought you were this, and then you ended up this. And you're like, what, you know, what the EF happened here? You know, and you don't, and so, yes, it's another cycle. We need to learn about ourselves and recognize that we're human and we're going to make mistakes. And people that don't make mistakes aren't being authentically going after everything they want, because you aren't going to, when you decide to invest in something new, what happens is you are going to make mistakes, then you learn from those mistakes, and then you build upon them. And then we have, blind spot. So this energy, I feel like this, like the emperor quite often represents an authority figure. And so if there was some sort of legal actions, and this could also be about divorce, etc., you know, the paperwork and judgment in court and all of that. If there is any of that, there was a blind spot. And when this information from the Page of Swords came in, and I feel like the information came in from the Page of Swords about the Knight of Wands energy. And then we have, on the reconciliation, we have the Emperor. So that's up to you. People tend to show you who they are the first time, but there could be mitigating circumstances. And so, but this is all about performance. And so this is talking about if you do reconcile with someone, make sure that you're strong to it, that you know everything. Because we have the scotoma here. And this card can be about illusions, but this illusion could have been what you thought it was going to be like to be married, you know, and have that. And then it didn't turn out exactly that way. We all can be very confused about, okay, what is a new business? Like, oh, we have a vision, we're going to start a business. And we think it's going to be this way, but if you've ever had a business, you know, there's sometimes shift that's out of your control. And you just have to, you know, work with it, right? And if you get stuck with, you know, and you take it personally, then it's hard to have the courage to keep going and move forward. But this is saying either way, whether you reconcile or not, if you forgive yourself for your part of what happened, and you know, like even if it was just that you didn't see you're mad at yourself because you didn't see the signs kind of energy. That's what the reality check is about. The reality check is the universe will show us synchronicity, and it will be like, here, you might want to take a look at this. And it's a whisper. And then it's like, bang, you get hit over the head with the frying pan. Like, do you get it? Like, you need to take a look at this. And you're still like, no, I don't want to see it, you know, and you can't see it. And then the next thing, it's the 2x4 treatment. And it's like, okay, now I see it. And sometimes that's what this tower represents. It can represent that energy of not wanting to see something and then it being like, bang, here, do you see it now? Because the universe likes to see action, and the whole purpose of being on the world, or in the part of the world, is to be your best version of yourself so that you can move forward. And if you think you're on the top of the pedestal there, and you really aren't, and there's something that you need to know, the universe has a way of showing us that. And first, the universe will be gentle, you know, whispering, and then it can get very loud. And then we have the trauma queen here. And so there is a lot of trauma. I'm getting a lot of trauma drama. Life's a slice, you know, hold the drama. And so this is about you having to go inward. And this might not have been, you know, the queen may have had to deal with a lot of drama that was not, you know, that she felt degraded her, is what the energy is. And it wasn't, this is when people don't know whether they should fight or whether they should run, or they just get stuck and they just can't do anything. And that's when the tower comes in and says, here, now, are you going to do something? That kind of energy. And then we have the karmic space of intent. So the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So people do things, they have good intentions sometimes, and it just doesn't work out that way. And really, that's life. Yeah, that's just how it is. And a lot of time, like the mother of all the karmic spaces is attachment, because when we become attached to our lifestyle and what we thought we have, and we don't want to see something, don't, you know, be shocked about how the power of willful ignorance. Like, we can not see things for a long time. And then look, we have here, when I just put these cards down, we have the tower again, and this is regarding divorce. So I feel like that's kind of what this legal matter energy is about. There may have been, check your paperwork in that, there may have been some energy around these pentacles that wasn't on the up and up in the divorce, and you need to go to a lawyer and check that and have it looked into for justice. Like, look at now, I'm not going to keep going. No, we want justice. We're going to say, okay, this is justice. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. It's been very informative. Thank you, Scorpio. The other thing I just want to say is, don't forget, Scorpio has a stinger. So sometimes when a scorpion is upset and you take it out of its comfort zone, bang, it'll sting and it'll hurt, right? It's poisonous. So just remember that, that's how life can be. And I hope you've enjoyed this. I really have. Like and comment if you have. If you are, resonating with the energy of the channel, please consider subscribing. It would be my honor if you did so. I will be back, Scorpio, with another reading for you for the beginning of the new year, and also the full moon if I can get fitted in. Bye for now.